Here's how I let my Twitch chat choose the perks and abilities in this game without doing anything too fancy. So the game I'm playing is called S&box, and within that game you can find many other games. It's kind of like Roblox in that sense. And the specific game I was playing is called Sausage Survivors 2. It's a zombie auto shooter game where every time you level up, you get to choose in between 3 perks to help you out. For example, plus 20% max HP, plus 13% reload speed, plus 15% chance to ignite your bullets. The big advantage of playing this game solo is that the game actually pauses to let you choose those perks. So now I had to come up with a method to get chat's opinion. And creating a Twitch poll is probably the easiest thing. In case you don't know, the Twitch polling system is actually pretty simple. You can type /poll in your chat, then fill out the information. That simple. But of course, we're not gonna do that every time we want to launch a poll, especially since we're launching the exact same poll. Which perk? 1, 2, or 3? And that's when Streamerbot comes in handy, or any other bot that can control Twitch and OBS and all that. I created an action called Poll Choice S&box Survivor. And then here in the sub actions, if you go to add, you go to Twitch and you find polls, you can create a poll. And here's the dialog box it gives you. Your questions here, and then you can add the choices one by one or just delete them. While I'm here, I'm gonna disable the whole channel points voting. And I have mine set to 15 seconds. That's pretty much it. You might notice that I do not have a trigger, and that's because I ended up using my Streamdeck to trigger it. Now, of course, if you don't have a Streamdeck, Streamerbot actually supports many ways of triggering stuff. A chat command, a keyboard shortcut, even a voice command. But in my case, I just used the Streamerbot plugin, went down there, chose the right action, and that was it. Now I just have to press the button, which I'm gonna do right now. And you can see the poll appears here. You can vote, and then depending on the result, I choose the perk in the game. Now, factoring the delay of the stream, I couldn't just have the perks on screen and then hope that people would be able to read them, understand them, and then vote within 15 seconds. So at first I was simply reading out the perks before launching the poll, giving people time to understand the perks, and then they have the 15 seconds to vote. But then later on during the stream, I decided to make the perks bigger on screen so that chat could also read it for themselves. And I did that using the source clone plugin. It basically clones another source, in this case, the game capture source, and then I cropped it. That's it. Here in Streamerbot, I made another action called perk zoom, and this one is just an OBS source visibility state. I set it to toggle, and as you can see, my source is clone perks in the game scene, which was the second button on my Stream Deck. Now, while I was live streaming this, I wondered if I wanted to have a visual of the poll on screen. I haven't implemented it yet, but I found how I would do it. Here's a quick warning. I'm gonna show light mode on Twitch's website, okay? 3, 2, 1, bang. So on the website, it shows you that you can actually get an overlay or a browser source for the poll. And it's twitch.tv/popout/ your username /poll. So it's not really an overlay, it's more of just a pop out of the poll. But if we copy this and make sure to replace the username with our username and press enter, it's actually gonna give us the poll. Now, of course, we can immediately see a bunch of information that we wouldn't want to show on stream. So without going into too much details, I pressed F12 and then I used the inspector tool here to basically break down each part. For example, where it says browser source URL, if I click once, on the right here, it's actually gonna give me the name of the CSS div, class, whatever, the thing that I need in order to get rid of it. So basically when you add it in OBS, under the custom CSS part, or even in here, you could basically inject something like display none. That is, hey, don't display that stuff. And if we go back here, we will see that this text disappeared. So all you have to do is do the same thing for the vote breakdown and then for that bottom part, and you're good to go. Let me quickly show you what that looks like. Actually, you can see the final result here. This is weird, but this is what it looks like. You can see it actually supports a little bit of transparency too. So you can see I have each segment in there. This is one of them, this is one of them. And the reason why I'm not sharing this code is because those random class names are probably randomly generated and probably won't work for you. But it is very simple. You find it with your F12, you put display none, and then I also added this important thing so it can guarantee override whatever CSS they have in there. Once I got rid of everything I wanted, this is like the main div, like the main background, and I set this to 0. Don't worry about all those numbers. So that's completely transparent. Same thing for this one. And then finally, that semi-transparency part that you saw, I just added the appropriate hex code, which included transparency. I think it's the BA6 part. And that's it. I made sure the resolution was right for 400 by 250. And here, if we test it with some fake gameplay, we see what it would look like. So I can go ahead and modify this as much as I want. You can see that the color is switching I don't think this is something that I'm actually going to use, but if you really must know, this is from the shader filter plugin, and the specific shader is hue rotation shader. But yeah, I can turn that off and just get the normal result thing. Only thing that would be left to do here is to basically tie in the visual of the poll appearing after the poll ended, or maybe during the poll. Basically in Streamerbot, I would make it so that when I press to launch the poll, it waits 2 seconds and then shows the poll. And when I press to hide the magnified perks, it also hides the poll. But to be fair, I did not have the visual while I was live streaming, so it was way simpler. And then we even managed to kill the boss and win the game. It was pretty awesome. And there you have it. For some people, this is actually super complicated because they're not using Streamerbot, they don't have any OBS plugins, and I can definitely understand that. This is not like a beginner, I just started streaming, I'm gonna do this. But if you're already established and you're already using some software to control OBS and Twitch, this would be fairly simple. It was just one extra OBS source to show off the perks, one Streamerbot sub action to show the perks, and then one Streamerbot action to launch the poll. That's it. Now, for the more advanced people, I know I'm gonna get comments about, have you tried this poll, this polling system, and this polling? There are a gazillion ways to have much cooler polls that are compatible with more stuff. I've even gotten some pointers from Twitter that I'm gonna try out. But at the end of the day, for this specific use case, if you stream on Twitch, nothing is easier than launching a Twitch poll. It's automatically compatible with mobile, and on top of that, you already get the visuals. By the way, that reminds me, I know I showed this and this seems super complicated, and I'm like, oh, you gotta remove the part. All you have to do is crop it, honestly. If you crop it, there you go. It's gonna look like that in OBS. All you have to do is just crop it, right? Or put the right size and then crop it. You don't even need to do the custom CSS stuff. So yeah, subscribe here and follow me on Twitch.